She quickly realized that this new school was not nearly as well-resourced as her previous institution. Where were the pencils, the textbooks, even paper? We had nothing, Anaya reflected to me. Despite her valid frustrations of a public school system lost in the bowels of a public funding formula based on property taxes, Anaya did see some positives. We did have community. I made friends quicker than I had in Union City. We were all really close. Soon after, Anaya learned that instead of putting more resources into the school, the city was planning on shutting it down. Dollars over community, or at least that's the lesson she began to internalize. We felt that no one cared about us. There was no hope in the classroom. It wasn't school, it was daycare. Anaya decided to take action. She worked to empower her peers, attempting to convince them to mobilize for their school's very survival. After all, she had already witnessed the powerful effect of advocating for an issue she cared about. Her efforts, though, appeared to descend into the void. For their entire lives, her classmates had experienced a public system whose indifference to inequitable conditions reflected a reality to the students that their lives did not matter. Closing their school seemed to be only another stop on their interminable journey of witnessing an institutional disregard for their well-being. We didn't feel like the adults cared about us. The students' minds had been made up. The system did not care what they thought, so why should they participate? But Anaya defied this entrenched logic. She attended district meetings and pleaded with decision-makers, making her case that rather than shutting the school down, they should allocate more resources to it. She emphasized the tight-knit community they had formed and how equipping the school with paper and pencils and good teachers could help them overcome all their previous challenges. I was heard, Anaya told me. Sometimes, though, being heard doesn't necessarily lead to action. Later that spring, the school was shut down. But rather than lose hope, Anaya's strengthened her efforts. I had two feelings. I was disappointed and sad that our efforts were not successful, Anaya started. While speaking to me, she paused as if thinking out loud. But I also feel like I did accomplish something. I used my voice. I became confident that I could make a difference. And so, less than a year later, Anaya was back again, addressing her new high school filled with students she barely knew. Yet again, she was speaking up against an issue that had affected her Oakland community deeply, but seemed unmovable: gun control. As young people, we deserve to be heard because our voices are the change for the future and today. Enough is enough. Her voice rose along with the cheers from the crowd. Your guns are killing us. The cliché ending to this story would entail dramatic success. This is what we might see in a movie. Maybe her speech would have led the state of California to pass new, effective anti-gun legislation. Maybe Anaya's efforts would have been plastered on the front page of newspapers across this country. But this isn't the movies. It's real life. And Anaya recognizes that her political journey is just beginning. Gun reform won't transpire just because of a powerful speech, just like schools won't always be saved because of effective, galvanizing student testimony. Rather than hope for outdated, idealistic storylines, there are more realistic lessons from Anaya's ongoing activism that we can hold on to and learn from. The first is that real change takes time. Anaya sees her efforts as a journey. No singular action will lead to the progress she wants to see. But the common through line, from advocating for the inclusion of Black History Month, to lobbying for her school to stay open, to speaking at the gun control rally, is that she will stay active. Always. We all need to lead political journeys, not just when it's convenient or urgent, but all the time. The second lesson, as she articulated at the speech at her school, is that young voices do transform the conversation. Whenever we see change in this country and in this world, young people are at the